As soon as the James Webb Space Telescope was turned on, scientists fell completely silent. Why? Because its first batch of photos directly overthrew human understanding of the universe. Strictly speaking, this thing is not a telescope. It is a time machine. It can see the universe as it was 13.4 billion years ago. Meanwhile, the universe is only 13.8 billion years old. What does this mean? It means you can see the universe when it was still an infant with your own eyes. But here is the problem. According to the Big Bang Theory, the infant universe should be pure chaos. There should be nothing. But Webb took a look, and oh boy, 13.4 billion years ago, there were already mature galaxies. Some are even bigger than our Milky Way. It is like opening the door to a kindergarten, only to find a bunch of college students sitting inside. Either these galaxies time-traveled, or humans calculated the age of the universe completely wrong. What is even crazier? The Webb telescope is 1.5 million kilometers away from Earth. That is 4 times the distance to the Moon. If it breaks down, no astronaut can go there to fix it. Humanity spent $10 billion to build a camera with absolutely zero customer service. We threw it into space. We are simply gambling that it will never break down. But do you think this is the craziest part about Webb? What truly makes scientists' scalps tingle is its working environment. The Webb telescope must operate in an extreme cold of -223 degrees Celsius. Why? Because it takes infrared photos. Imagine taking the universe's temperature with a thermometer. If the camera itself is hot, it is like using a thermometer that has a fever. You will only measure your own body temperature. You will not see the distant stars at all. So, Webb must freeze itself into a popsicle. Only then can it capture those incredibly faint infrared lights from 13.4 billion light years away. How did they do it? Scientists equipped it with a sunshield the size of a tennis court. This sunshield has 5 layers. Each layer is about as thin as a human hair. But stacked together, they create a 300-degree temperature difference between the front and the back of the telescope. The front, facing the sun, is a roasting 85 degrees Celsius. The back, where the mirrors are, is -233 degrees Celsius. One single machine is simultaneously experiencing scorching heat and extreme cold, and it has to maintain this state for 10 years. But that is still not the craziest part. Webb has a diameter of 6.5 meters. That is taller than a 1-story building. No rocket can launch a mirror this massive directly into space. So, engineers came up with a brilliant idea. They made the mirror into an 1/8-piece hexagonal puzzle. They folded it up, stuffed it into the rocket, and let it unfold in space like a transformer. Once unfolded, the 18 segments had to align perfectly to form one giant mirror. How high was the precision requirement? The error margin for each mirror could not exceed 10 nanometers. What is 10 nanometers? It is 1/10,000th of a hair. If you breathe on it, the mirror might go out of alignment. What is even more terrifying? This unfolding process had 344 single points of failure. If even one step went wrong, the entire mission would be scrapped. There are no second chances. No one can fly 1.5 million kilometers to fix it. How stressed were NASA engineers back then? Launch day was Christmas Day, 2021. Astronomers all over the world were staring at their screens. Some were so nervous they wanted to throw up. Some literally cried. In the end, Webb perfectly executed all 344 steps. Not a single mistake was made. But did you know? This telescope almost never came to be. The Webb project started preparation in 1996. The initial budget was only $500 million. The planned launch was in 2007. The result? It was delayed for 25 years. The budget skyrocketed from $500 million to $10 billion. That is a 20-fold increase. Along the way, it was almost cancelled by Congress countless times. The media called it a money pit. Peers mocked it as the project that would never be finished. Why did it take so long? Because humanity had never built anything this complex. Those 18 mirrors alone were transported back and forth between factories in 8 US states 14 times. Every transport required a special shock-proof truck. They had to take specific routes. They even had to avoid earthquake zones. The most ridiculous accident happened in 2018. While engineers were testing the sunshield deployment, the membrane actually tore. The whole project was almost ruined by a sheet of plastic. There is another detail you might not expect. In 2021, when Webb was shipped from the US to the launch site in French Guiana, NASA deliberately kept the exact schedule a secret. Why? They were afraid of pirates. Yes, you heard that right. They feared pirates hijacking the ship. If a $10 billion piece of equipment was stolen on the Atlantic Ocean, it would be the biggest joke in human spaceflight history. Fortunately, it launched successfully. But the story does not end there. After Webb reached its working location, scientists parked it at a place called Lagrange Point L2. This is a magical spot. It is located on the side of the Earth, facing away from the Sunday. Here, gravitational pulls are perfectly balanced. The telescope can hover there stably without burning too much fuel. But the catch is, this position is not completely stable. Webb has to fire its thrusters every 3 weeks to adjust its attitude. Otherwise, it will slowly drift away. The fuel it carries is only enough for 10 years. Once the fuel runs out, the mission is over. So, Webb is a telescope with an expiration date. Scientists must race against time to photograph as much of the universe as possible, and it certainly has not disappointed. Since turning on in 2022, Webb's discoveries have been increasingly mind-blowing. It found supermassive black holes existing just 500 million years after the Big Bang. Their masses equal millions of our Sunday. According to existing theories, these black holes should not have had enough time to grow this big. It also found carbon dioxide on Jupiter's moon, Europa. This is huge. Europa has a liquid ocean beneath its icy crust. The presence of carbon dioxide means chemical reactions might be happening. And chemical reactions are the foundation of life. Extraterrestrial life might be hiding right in our solar system's backyard. In 2025, Webb dropped an absolute bombshell. It discovered a planet potentially located in the habitable zone of the Alpha Centauri system. This is the closest star system to Earth. What does this mean? It means there might be liquid water there. Real-life Drizzlarians might actually exist. Three-body fans would probably go crazy hearing this. The sci-fi novels, written by Liu Cixin, are slowly being validated by reality. But what excites scientists the most are the things Webb found that should not exist. For example, dark stars. Webb photographed 3 bizarre bright spots. Their brightness can rival an entire galaxy, yet they might just be a single star. Scientists suspect these are driven by dark matter. Dark stars are mysterious celestial bodies that only existed in theory. If confirmed, human understanding of the universe will be completely rewritten. Then there is the Lemon Planet. In 2025, Webb discovered an exoplanet shaped exactly like a lemon. Its atmosphere is packed entirely with carbon molecules. According to current physics, such a planet is impossible. It is as if an alien threw a giant question mark right in our faces, asking, "Do your earthly physics even work?" Speaking of which, you might ask, Webb is so amazing, but is it safe? Frankly speaking, it is not very safe. In May 2022, a micrometeoroid smashed directly into Webb's primary mirror. That is right, space junk hit it. Luckily, only the edge of 1 out of the 18 mirrors was damaged. The other 17 are still working perfectly. But this damaged mirror can never be fixed. Scientists say these impacts will happen again. Webb is like a photographer working in a hail of bullets. It could get shot at any moment, but it must keep shooting. Because what Webb sees is the true face of the universe, something humanity has never seen before. It tells us that the universe is older, more chaotic, and more mysterious than we ever imagined. The theories in our textbooks might just be the tip of the iceberg. The true face of the cosmos may far exceed the limits of human imagination, and Webb's mission is to tear away as much of this veil as possible before its fuel runs out. 10 years from now, when Webb completes its final observation, it will stay forever at that spot 1.5 million kilometers from Earth. It will become a monument floating in deep space. It will never come back, But the photos it took will forever change human understanding of the universe. This is the James Webb Space Telescope, a time machine that cost $10 billion, took 25 years to build, has zero customer service, and could be smashed by space junk at any second. Humanity sent it into space, not to gamble that it will never break down. We are gambling that it will uncover enough truths about the universe before it finally dies. And so far, in this massive gamble, humanity is winning.